don't think about the simple things, but breathing is the key to life. All the arts are full of breath. Many times we describe and we say, that has breath. I connect, it has brevity, right? Well, let's really connect. Hey, my name is Kahil El'Zabar, and I'm a fellow Globetrotter. I've been a working musician and composer for over 50 years. And, you know, I've had the honor, the joy of working with masters, people like Cannonball Adderley, Eddie Harris, Roy Ayers, Stevie Wonder, Nina Simone, Nona Hendrix, the great Lester Bowie and Malachi Favors from the Art Ensemble of Chicago, recorded, performed over the years with the great Pharoah Sanders and David Murray, just, you know, like I said, incredible artists that are dedicated to expressing the spirit with their technical virtuosity. You know, the great writer, poet, Ntozake Shange, the great performance artist and visual artist, Nick Cave. Man, I'm excited about life, you dig? I'm excited about the doing of what you do and doing you. Being honest, being authentic, being in the moment and expressing the spirit, you know, coming from your soul, but using your mind as that dissector of all the information and then, you know, bringing it to the tribe, to the family. Stuff, yeah.
Earlier we talked about coalescing a creative tribe, right? Can you expand a little bit on the idea of that creative culture network and, you know, what that could possibly look like? You know, as well as, you know, what you've seen over the years regarding culture shifts, you know, and mannerisms from your perspective.
Sure. Well, you know, the tribe definitely in its metaphor is the continuum of the social graces that brought about the confluence of expression that we see in juju music, that we see in the practice of Santeria, that we see in the poetry of the great writer Ntozake Shange, dear friend that's now passed. The tribe is, you know, the energy that Train and Malcolm and Fanon and Ralph Ellison and Achano Pozo from Cuba, just all of these people have realized their essence was the light, that it was coming from the root of the earth, and that it had meaning when it was stories told well in the various creative disciplines to communities that were intelligent enough, reverent enough, and humble enough to receive the spirit. Sometimes, you know, now, man, when I think about it, you know, that turning 70 and, you know, that I'm one of the last people living that, you know, actually saw Coltrane live, you know, especially, you know, one of the jazz musicians who's still active. You know, I'm still out here hitting, you know, hopefully hard. But, you know, I saw Malcolm speak live. I was with my parents in Chicago on a street called Cicero, protesting with Dr. King, marching with Dr. King. This was all in my lifetime. You know, I remember in the United States going to the South and Louisiana and Mississippi to see relatives. And until I was like 12, 13 years old, it was still against the law for black people to go into public, toilets. I couldn't go into hotels. All of that's in my lifetime. And when I talk to my children, my kids, about these things, it's hard for them to fathom that within my lifetime that actually exists. And here we are now. How are we going to make these connections across generations, across communities and cultures of this greater human connection, which comes through culture? That we've got to develop that hub, that space, that exchange, that culture network, you dig, if you will, where we can express, expound, collaborate, share, dialogue, have conversation, experience righteous content, evolve genres to their next space through engagement and convergence. We've got to really just all, as this global tribe, work on building this culture network. The fabric is here. The visionaries and tastemakers are here across the globe. In contemporary media, we hear so much of the bad news. Man, I want to hear the good news. I know that there are loving, strong, vibrant, passionate visionaries working in incredible areas, whether in arts, technologies, sciences, plasticians, fashion, literature, theater, plant sciences, working on urban farming, micro banking, just all kinds of innovative tastemakers are bringing about positive change that we need to celebrate. We need to acknowledge. We need to bathe in the confidence of knowing that we do make a difference, that the arts are real, they have utility, they are effective, that these great artists in all parts of the world are communicating and connecting, that these tastemakers, these curators, these promoters and critics and writers and videographers and filmmakers and producers, like in all the areas, the great musicians in all these various cultures, it's all interconnected. There's a cerebral, kind of coexistence where we are in multi-dimensions manifesting reality in various forms. And that's through this network, this fabulous group of human beings who say, I dare to invent my reality. I dare to live on my own terms, and I celebrate the manifestation of now.
Amazing. Phenomenal. So I've had the privilege of knowing you for, I believe, over 15 years, if not longer. And, you've always been available for me. Very proud and honored to call you a mentor of mine. You're always on the road, still doing your thing. Can you share what you're excited about these days, or what talent or new talent you're seeing on the horizon these days?
I'm really excited about Isaiah Collier. He graduated from high school with my middle son, Kyrie. So I've known Isaiah since he was maybe 12. And so it's funny how times change, because there was a time when I was playing with Pharrell and I was Isaiah's age, and now I'm the age of Pharrell and Isaiah's the age I was. And so it keeps going, and so, your student becomes your peer. And we work together, no matter what the age is, for the truth of the spirit. How to ignite and enlighten and expand the possibilities of the sound, of the love, of the energy, how we make the voice of the tribe. I'm excited, man. I mean, that to me is what keeps you going, is I'm always learning. So, my sound has changed because I work with, younger artists that help me learn where the attack, where the connect of the structure of the music is now, and I bring the knowledge of the sympathetic history of what I've experienced from, as I was saying, playing with Pharoah or playing with Lester Bowie or David Murray, whatever, but how do I bring that and connect it to where Isaiah Collier or Corey Wilkes are now? And so, I'm really older than the hip hop generation for sure, but I have connected with rhythms that are associated with this time in order to translate my story into the now. And so that's what the new group is about. And we just released A Time for Healing, which is my latest project just coming out. It's time for healing. It's time to reconnect the mind, body, and spirit in a new vital sense of breath, right? To bring this breath in, it's like you gotta breathe in your mind, body, and spirit. But like in the body, you gotta breathe from your gut, get these things out, So, you gotta breathe like this, where you bring it in, and you let it out. You actually have to reconnect your vitals from the core to your physical mobility. And that keeps that energy really strong. And so we don't think about the simple things, but breathing is the key to life. All the arts are full of breath. Many times we describe and we say, that has breath. I connect, it has brevity, right? Well, let's really connect. Right now, the breathing is being choked by mediocre consumer habits that are manipulated by less than genuine algorithms made to influence behavior toward less than fulfilling goals. And we've got to reassign this breath, deep breathing, deep connection, so that we're making choices that we would actually be proud of, right? And so after America the Beautiful, I wanted to come with resolution to what I was describing as the social ills of America, the humanity of America, and the future of America. Well, what's next in terms of the global scope of things? It's a time for healing. It's a time for reconnecting our vitals on a physical level. It's time for reconnecting to the spirit, which brings all life. And it's time to reconnect a healing to the mind, to know that there are times beyond this, that we can get through this, which is another song on the record. That there is resolution, written by John Coltrane, but it's another performance that's on the record. Everything about this record is saying we have the ability to readdress, reemerge, and bring ourselves whole through all these fragments and distractions.
Amazing. So what is the now? What are you seeing in Chicago? Mannerisms, the music, future in music. What are you seeing on the landscape going forward, or what does that future look like?
Yeah. Well, I see Chicago struggling for its humanity to embrace peaceful behavior. I'm saddened by so many deaths by gun violence. Chicago, which was originally pronounced Chicago, it was a land of spirit where many ancient tribes came to reassess the energy coming from the lake for their lives, replenishment. And I believe those spirits are crying for us to call upon them in order to bring about change. And that's reflected throughout the world. We are not in Grand Theft Auto, folks. Slow down. Smell the roses. Creation is the profound gift that manifests us into being. For us to maintain and be in the future, we have to acknowledge, be reverent to the true source of science, which is not human intellect. To get into the magic of creation, the sanctity of our existence, and regenerate a hopefulness for what things could be. You know, it's interesting, you know, you say, you know, what is the future, right? Okay, well, you know, the technologies are real. Automation's here, robotics are here. I don't think they're going away. I think we have to figure out how we control behavior for humanity versus technology controlling humanity for its destruction. If there are going to be robotics, if there are going to be automation and the technology taking the place of labor, then this is the time for us to network and question and also resolve our beliefs, our answers, our epiphanies upon what the role of being human is about, right? If the technologies are going to take most of labor, then what will be the purpose of the human model, right? So what's possible? Here's where arts, culture, expression, community become essential. It's ridiculous that 10% of the global population has 90% of the so-called physical wealth. It's ridiculous. That means mathematically that there's actually enough money within that tenth in order to provide the sustenance for balanced human living for the entire human population currently. If technology takes away the idea of labor, well then how do we redefine ethics? How do we redefine our purpose? You know, how do we use the definition of love as a power for transformation? How do we use art not as some experience of exotica, but the utility in order to reaffirm what the beauty of being human, what the beauty of making and creating is all about? How do we transfer our young people's blessed energy for excitement into the excitement of peace? Why have we not yet invented a game as sexy for peace as the games that we are attracted to that promote violence? There's something wrong with the agenda collectively, but we need to converge, to have conversation, to collaborate on the things that we know are in our hearts and are in our instincts for the better good, and let this talk be about transformation, and let this walk come real straight up with pride, knowing that we have the ability to define our future on our own terms. This is Sir Kahil El'Zabar. We're in my personal performance recording studio in our building, which is called the Colabyrinth, the labyrinth for collaboration, with my man Kennedy. And just let you know, this is Globetrotter.